So my name's Steve.
And my name is Sess.
And we decided to leave the UK for Australia. Now, don't get me wrong, our lives in the UK were pretty damn good. We both had full-time jobs. We lived in Warrington in the north of England, and we had lived there for how many years? Five or 6 years. Prior to that, I grew up in Manchester, in Salford, and we had the normal life, 9-to-5 jobs, but we just thought there was something more out there. My wife being a nurse, it gave us an opportunity to try something different. We left the UK in September 2024. We arrived in Victoria, Australia. Now, I was very hesitant about moving to Australia at the start. My wife had already left the Philippines and moved to the UK, so she was a little bit more accustomed to that process. And I was very sceptical. And at first I didn't really want it, did I?
Yes. It took a lot of convincing him to move away from the UK, which is understandable because obviously all his friends, all his family, everything he knew about life was in the UK. I think it was obviously harder for him than it was for me. Like I said, I've gone through that process already. My
wife just said that I've only ever known the UK. A person that does take chances, does take risks, but moving to the other side of the world was just a risk I was too unsure about making. So at first we thought the process would be impossible. It isn't a case of just booking a plane ticket and up and off you go. There's various different criteria you've got to adhere to. My wife, Australia wouldn't have been a viable option. Career, I'm not classed as skilled, so wouldn't be ticking the correct criteria to come and start a new life. My wife being a nurse and healthcare being at the top of the priority list in Australia, that option was possible. Talk a bit about you being a nurse and your experience, and come on.
What about it?
Well, what nurse are you? Like, do you work?
So, a nurse specializing in emergency. Also did a bit of medical surgical nursing for 2 years, but most of my career I spent in the emergency department. So yeah.
Given her experience, she obviously met the criteria. So we had a 4-year-old girl, but at the time our little girl was 2. We both had full-time jobs, and my fear was, well, what do you do if it just doesn't work out? What if you don't like it? What if the visa gets rejected? You've got to invest a lot of money into this process before you get the green light to go, and that in itself is pretty scary. You don't earn huge amounts of money, and we earned enough to have a decent life, and having to expel what much was it? Bloody hell. Just is a very costly process overall. So let's talk about the worries and the concerns and the unfamiliarities about Australia. Was petrified in terms of snakes, spiders, sharks, crocodiles, all this stuff that you see and hear. Australia's got the world's deadliest this. In the UK, you just don't have them concerns. Then equally, Australia has a lot of familiarities to the UK. You drive on the same side of the road, speak the same language, have the 4 seasons. Live in Victoria, which is about an hour. Victoria's obviously the state, but we live about an hour from Melbourne. The weather, even when it's winter, is still bright. Just doesn't feel gloomy, and it was very evident that both myself and my wife's moods were really affected by the gloomy, rainy, just cold, horrible weather that the UK seems to omit so often. The country is just very outdoorsy. It's winter, we're in May, and there's just so many people around. The parks are always full, kids are playing out, whether it's rainy, everyone's outdoors. Where we live, we are 15 minutes drive from many different types of beaches that you actually feel safe walking on. Beaches that you don't have to worry about stepping on broken glass, needles. It just ticks more of our boxes. When we first landed here in Victoria, neither of us actually had a job. We didn't have a home. We only had our clothes, which were 3-4 suitcases that we brought over, and we didn't have anything else to our name. We had sold our house in the UK. We had a very small amount of money that we brought over to Australia to try and set up, but we were completely fresh in a country we didn't know, and it was very worrying. Not only that, the biggest thing that I struggled with was homesickness and missing my family, my father, my mother, friends, my family, my sister, just in the country, and I just couldn't be there to see them. I can't stress how hard that element is. Even now, getting emotional just talking about it. It is so damn hard, no matter how old you are. Me and my wife are in our mid-30s. You always need your family, and that is such a hard thing to overcome. And I genuinely don't think we're ever going to overcome it. But it's just something you have to try and live with. If you're making this decision to move across the other side of the world, these are some of the sacrifices that you've got to do.
So was leaving the UK for Australia worth it? 100% yes for me. There's a lot of room to grow as a person, professionally as well. Better life here, get paid more by 30%. Weather's better. Though it's the autumn and winter, we still get bursts of sunshine. Unlike in the UK, which unfortunately is always gloomy. Got family here close by, so my sister lives probably about 10 minutes away from us, so we've got the support we need. Jobs here, the nursing in Australia is far better than it is in the UK. You could actually breathe.
For me, I think 100% it was definitely worth it. Now we're coming up to 2 years in Australia, and we're still learning, we're still growing here. Do not regret our decision one bit. Things get easier and easier once you start getting over those huge obstacles. Your visa, finding somewhere to live, getting jobs, finding a car, getting to know people. Once you get over that, things just become more clearer. If you are considering moving to Australia from the UK, those people in the north near Manchester, Warrington, Liverpool, I would love to hear from you. Tell me your story, reach out, and if you wouldn't mind, drop us a follow and subscribe to our channel. That would be great. Stay tuned for episode 2. Finally, the biggest lesson we've learned is
that we realize how resilient we are. The amount of challenges we had to face. Not easy. Our life back zero in Australia. There's definitely a lot of challenges we surpassed. And it just made me realize that you got no choice but to do it. You just do it. Just have to keep on pushing yourself, and here we are now with our PR.
Yeah, we'll talk more about that on the episodes, but yeah, tuned.